In breaking developments tonight, an extenuation of 14, our new series every morning. LA can report that the president has been taken to Walter Reed Medical Center for further examination, along with the First Lady. The developments unfold as millions of Americans wonder how is the president exposed and how is his health jeopardized amidst his leadership of the country. Additionally, questions are unfolding as to when Nancy and Steve might get you a stimulus package deal, she says as early as this weekend, as early as Sunday. Third, major developments even tonight, wondering what's going to be going on over the next 14 days, and will the president stay in control, or will Mike Pence take the reins? Finally, big numbers earlier this morning that are bad across the board for jobs, new jobs. And new question tonight, whether or not this would be the impetus to get a second stimulus package done. This is Evenings LALATE. Hey, good evening, everybody. This is Evenings LA with a special broadcast, a continuation of our new series which debuted this morning, 14, which is normally at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every morning. But tonight there's so many breaking developments about the president's health. We will add our coverage of 14 into this recording as well. There is stuff all across the board that is deeply concerning tonight. First, the president is at Walter Reed undergoing testing at the time of this recording. No further details have been released. The president released a tweet shortly before leaving for Walter Reed suggesting he was fine. His voice was a little bit hoarse. He was dressed and appearing straight and in full posture. But at the same time, his physician, Dr. Sean Connolly, reported that Trump, who was 74 and obese, was fatigued but in good spirit and was exhibiting symptoms of COVID-19. The First Lady, in turn, only has a mild cough and a headache. Both were taken to Walter Reed. Trump entered Marine One, the helicopter, on the White House grounds and was wearing a mask. When asked about the situation today, Larry Kudlow and Mark Meadows both discussed the situation and said it's important to wear a mask, but neither were wearing masks during those press conferences. The president went to Walter Reed as, quote, a precautionary measure for testing. I want to make very clear, he is not hospitalized at Walter Reed, and he's not undergoing any type of treatment. He was just going there for testing. However, broadcast news reporters said that generally when someone goes to Walter Reed in the White House, there's generally a field of reporters outside from the White House crew that could give some feelers as to what went on. They gave very much of nothing. The president remains in good spirits, has mild symptoms, and has been working throughout the day. Press Secretary Kayleigh Inay said earlier today, and I always butcher her name, I'm sorry. Out of the abundance of caution and at the recommendation of his physician and other medical experts, the president will be working from the presidential offices at Walter Reed for the next few days. Repeat, he will be working from the presidential offices at Walter Reed for the next few days. President Trump appreciates the outpouring of support for both him and the First Lady. So this sort of answers some of the questions I got last night. As soon as news broke that the president tested positive for COVID-19, millions of Americans said, oh, nothing's going to happen from our stimulus. Nothing's going to happen. He's not going to work. He's not going to work. In the last 24 hours, I think I've done a good job of getting everyone up to speed about the fallacies, the fictions, and trying to get you up to speed about where the facts are. Let me explain them again if it's not inherently clear. The president has COVID-19. He does not have arthritis. He does not have a stiffness of the fingers. He's able to write and he's able to move. Even someone asked me a comment earlier today, can he electronically sign an executive order? Oh, come on, let's get a little bit lower facetious about this. Executive orders are not actually handwritten, first of all. They are not hand-signed either. They actually just appear on the government's website, the White House's website, and has a prefabricated signature that appears below it. So there's nothing much more to it than that. But can he electronically sign it? Yes. In the day and age in which electronic signatures are sufficient, he can electronically sign an executive order. Next, is Mike Pence in control? No. Is Nancy Pelosi our president? Oh, no. Yeah, I think we'd all be running to the casino and having a couple of drinks if that was the case to sort of, deal with that situation. But no, we do not have that national emergency just yet. Mike Pence tested negative. Steve Mnuchin tested negative. Everyone else in the Trump family tested negative. Trump tested negative. So everyone around the group tested negative. The president will, again, remain at Walter Reed and will be working over the next couple of days. So if you're wondering if he's doing anything for you, yes, he is. And to make this even more clear, Mark Meadows appeared to press and had the first real statements after the announcement last night to press this morning and said the president woke up and his first words were, "How's those stimulus chats going?" No joke. That's actually what he said. So it's great that he has your wishes in mind. It's actually, his visit to Walter Reed is no indication of his condition at all. It's not necessarily an indication the president's condition has worsened. I think that's prudence. You would want to put him in a place where you have access to facilities in case his condition does change. The former FDA chief, Scott Gottlieb. So basically, it's a precautionary measure, and I would certainly think you would do the same. So he's there with the complete ability. Now, the question is whether or not there was a bubble around the president. And I'm not going to go too much into detail because this is a economics and finance channel. But there's a lot of news reports asking tonight, why was there no real bubble around the president to prevent him from getting exposed? They created a bubble around the president, and yet he became vulnerable, says Dr. Scott Gottlieb. An issue was that he was at a major fundraiser of his major donors in the last 48 hours at his golf course, whose name I always butcher as well, Budmeiser or something like that, which is actually where he had done those executive orders before. Remember those ones for LWA and rent and all those wonderful things, Fiction Moratorium? He was there with the major donors, and now they apparently are freaking out, says a news report, calling around the clock to find out if they have contracted it. And while some people may have said that he may have contracted it from Hope Hicks, there's concerns he may have contracted it days earlier when he had the Rose Garden announcement of the Supreme Court nominee. One person in attendance did test positive during that situation. Now, as we sit here tonight, what's going on with your stimulus packages and stimulus check and the Nancy and Stevie situation? Well, major developments across the board. Boy, it's one of those days. If you've not gone to the channel, subscribe. Go to the friend channel, subscribe, because, boy, this is going to turn very interesting very quickly. And if you've not liked this video, then make sure you like this video as well. This is going to be continued in Purple Power right after this, but here's the breaking details tonight. First, there is indication from Nancy Pelosi, which is opinion, not fact, her opinion, not mine, that this deal will be done by Sunday. Yes. She claims that the parties are closer than they were last night. Steve Mnuchin does not confirm the same statements, nor does the White House. She does confirm there has been movement by both her and the White House on numbers and issues and language. And some of those items have come to resolution while they're trying to get the remainder done. They came to a resolution since last night about things like the amount of money for testing and the language of that provision for testing. What's going on? Okay, let me explain this one to you as well, because I got a lot of confusing comments about this last night. It passed. Oh my goodness. I got so many comments about people like in the streets celebrating like it's 1999. It passed. It means absolutely nothing. That means that all I can say is maybe the person does not watch this channel, because I've only said 1,000 times over the last 2 weeks, a bill has to pass the House, the Senate and has to be signed by the president. And if you don't have one of those things in the equation, it means much of nothing. It's no achievement. It's nothing to celebrate. It's nothing to put it past in the title of a YouTube video with 5,000 exclamation points and a this and a that and that, because it means much of nothing. Because in this case, we actually know it's not going to pass because Mitch McConnell has told us it's not going to pass in the Senate. People have also added the expression to it, well, it landed in the Senate. That's incredibly great news. Everything lands in the Senate. It goes from the House to the Senate. That's procedurally how it goes. It's not like it's some special VIP entrance that, oh, this is a special bill. It got invited to the Senate, and that means it's really good. No, they all go to the Senate. I just don't know where this silliness is coming from. Apparently, it's from the same people who said that, why is the trailer only 2 minutes? Because of the trailer. Needless to say, I think we've gotten through that enough. Nancy Pelosi's bill did pass the House, but the Democrats slammed her across the board because of the purple power. A large number of Democrats voted against her bill last night, and after that they came out to press and said this was a partisan political stunt. Well, they didn't use stunt, but political event, but they meant stunt, that we're not happy with, because ultimately the bill is going to die. And shortly after that, she changed course again. In the last 48 hours, because of purple power, she is no longer retreating and flying back to California. She's no longer saying, take it or leave it. She's no longer saying, I'm done with negotiations. In fact, she's doing quite the opposite. She's doing all that and the opposite. So tonight, she negotiated with Steve Mnuchin. Yes, this morning she negotiated with Steve Mnuchin, and she'll be negotiating all weekend long with Steve Mnuchin, and she claims she's very close. The items that remain not closed is 2 provisions. They are the ones I reported earlier, but the ones that you think would be not close. They are first, state and local. Yeah, of course. And then FPUC, of course. Now, where would the bill land? At this point, ironically, the discussion is no longer that, well, he's at 1.7 and I'm at 2.2. Now it's actually, we've gotten everything done with the exception of a certain number of provisions, and those provisions are what are remaining. So I know a lot of you have said, why don't they just settle at 1.8? Why don't they just settle at 1.9? Because it's no longer an issue of how big the bill is. It's that there's a couple of provisions remaining. Nancy Pelosi started the day by saying the kind of the situation changed for the positive to get this done, because here the reality of what we've been saying all along, this is a vicious virus. That's not true. That's just no. That's just sort of dramatics. But she said these incredible remarks. The temple of doom became the temple of positive. We always have to find a path. This is our responsibility to do so, and I believe we will. Wow. Finding a path for bipartisanship is not the same as don't talk to me unless you have more money. That's categorically a entirely different path by her alone, and it's absolutely refreshing. We will find our middle ground. Wow. Of course, that is different from just 2 days ago, which was you'll find my ground or you'll find the highway. Now she's saying we'll find our middle ground, where legislators will get the job done. That's also different because 24 hours ago she said, if you don't accept my way, then we'll just elect Joe Biden as the president and we'll wait for a stimulus package in January. So apparently the purple power has worked. All this is really pushed back on her. Now, ultimately, the numbers remain the same. $1,200 stimulus checks, $2,400 married couples check, dependents and minor dependents, $500. Not taken out for child support, not taken out for deductions, for tax liabilities, not taken out for collections, family of 5, it looks like it's going to be. And then we go to the issue of FPUC and UI and PUA. Before I continue, I still have this question, and so I still have to answer it. Yes, if you're on SSDI, SSI, Social Security, and Railroad benefits, you would get a stimulus check. And if you did not get one last time, it was because you were a dependent. This time you would get a check, $500. All right, FPUC, it's going to be somewhere between $400 to $600. We now know that because Mnuchin is back at where he was before. He's going backwards on this. Remember, the Problem Solvers bill was $450 for 8 weeks, and then 5 weeks at $600. Well, now he's gone backwards. It just said, I'll just give you $400, which is what he offered in July. Remember, I've done that 1,000 videos ago, 1,000 videos even the last few days. And she's still at 600. So these are two people at the same numbers they have been at since July when we talk about FPUC. Next, the issue of retroactive. I had a misstatement in one of the videos this afternoon. I said it's retroactive to when FPUC ended. That's not accurate. It's retroactive to September 5th. So it's not retroactive to the last week of July. So a misstatement there. So ultimately, if you did not qualify for LWA, you would, under FPUC 2.0, pick up in the first week of September, but you would lose the whole month of August. So you would lose 4 weeks at $600, well, if it's $600 a week, I don't think it's going to be $600 a week, but if it's 4 at $600 a week, you would lose $2,400. If you did get LWA, will this go on top of LWA? We still don't know. EIDL and EIDL loans. EIDL grants, EIDL loans are in this. Absolutely, categorically incredible. And I will be in full force to make sure you get that money. And if you don't know what EIDL is, that's why you found me. PPP coming back, absolutely coming back. And I guess I will be too for PPP coverage as well. So this is really quite interesting. Next, Meadows met with reporters this morning and said that the economy continues to be robust and is a V-shaped recovery. Unfortunately, that's not what people are focused on this morning, referring to the president. Well, no. Actually, Mark, we were focused on the economy this morning, and that is not what happened. Mark Meadows basically came out to not just spin, but declare a false narrative about what happened in the markets this morning. On Purple Power, coming up after this video, I will go over how horrible that economic number was today and why much of all of Wall Street and myself believe that this is why Trump and Mnuchin have moved, because the number was so bad. It actually shows that we could be in this for a very long time in a very bad situation if you don't start throwing stimulus. The president's diagnosis has forced Mnuchin and Pelosi, who had met in person on Wednesday, to talk remotely, which I'm sure she loves. Mnuchin tested negative. Pelosi is negative as well. As we start the evening and we go into tomorrow morning, what should you know? Well, coming up on Purple Power, I will go over why the spirit of the Purple Power is even more excited than ever. Because of the efforts of this channel, all this has happened. One, because of I'm going to go through everything that Purple Power has done this week. One, it got Nancy Pelosi to stop from leaving town. It's just like, I can't believe I'm even saying that. She wanted to leave town. She said she's going to leave town. She said, we're not staying here. Second, it forced Nancy Pelosi from 2.4 to 2.2. 3, it forced Nancy Pelosi below allegedly 2.2 tonight. It says that they're negotiating in a different range. 4, it got Nancy Pelosi to, as she said, find the middle ground, which was not what she was doing less than 24 hours ago. 5, it caused Nancy Pelosi to really understand that bipartisanship is needed to get a bill done. And just passing something in the House is a much of political theater, and that doesn't really do anything. 6, it got, and this is really the big one. There's two really big ones. The first big one, it got all those Democrats to vote against her last night. I mean, that is really bad. I mean, imagine in the face of a pandemic, and you have, how long is that bill? 2,000 pages? I can't remember anymore. This bill this week is 2,000 pages, and you have all these Democrats vote against it. And this comes after she has said, even this week, our caucus is aligned. All our subcommittee chairs wrote this wonderful letter. I've never seen so many letters in support of me. I told you that was crap when she said it. They came out, and they came out against her. And finally, the big one, which was Mnuchin. He came in this week and says, I support the Problem Solvers Bill. That's how he started it. Earlier this week, on news, I support the Problem Solvers Bill, and I support a bipartisan resolution. But we're not to the finish line yet. Some of the viewers, and including myself, are very cautious or don't believe her statement that's going to get done by Sunday. So we still have to push. Ultimately, the harder you push, the more we're to the finish line. Go to the Finish channel, subscribe, and then like this video. It has been an incredible day, and I got to tell you, debuting a no show, bringing the show channel to 4 hours of programming every day has been very exciting. I really appreciate your patronage for watching 14. I just ask you to do one thing. Make sure you watch mornings LALATE. Give yourself a little break, finish the remainder of the coffee and the toast, and then come back and join 14 shortly thereafter. Don't sort of skip one show to watch the other. The purpose of giving you 14 is to give you a show that breaks the gap, because I saw your comments. It's a big gap from 8:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. 8:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. It's a big gap with no programming. So that's why that's landing there. Again, go to the Finish channel, subscribe. This is the greatest community on social media. And let's try to get to 290. We're at 280 tonight. Also like this video. Coming up next is Purple Power. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and save LA for more.